Hi FPL managers, welcome to FPL Team Talks. In this video I've put together a free hit for game week 36. We'll quickly have a look at the fixtures for game week 36 and just ask the question whether it would be better to free hit in 36 or 37. So we'll investigate that a little bit. You may have decided already. We'll do our normal statistical analysis of all the players and go through at the end quite a few different options of all the types of permutations that you could use with your players, of who you want and who you don't want. So if you enjoy these videos, don't forget to click that like, hit subscribe, and in the meantime, let's have a look. So on screen we got the fixtures for 36. Game week 36 is a big double game week, which is no doubt one of the benefits for free hitting in this week. We will have a quick discussion about game week 37 and whether or not that's a better chance to free hit. But the options I think really are 36 or 37, and they're absolutely going to double game week players are going to take priority over single week game week players. As we know, single game week players can outperform double game week players. It's absolutely not even a discussion. We know that can be the case. I will always, I think, err to the side of going double. It's just two chances to score points if they play. We will be looking at players, try who will play, which I know is Russian roulette at this stage of the season, but we'll have a look at that as we go through the video and the fixtures they have. So the choices again, 36 or 37, which one will benefit? It will be team dependent, okay, feels like a get out clause, but it's entirely down to your team. I'm going to show you my team as a little bit of an example. I think it's fairly template. I've got those two Arsenal players, Ramsdale and White, which I know a lot of us will own. I've got three Chelsea players, which we may be hanging on to because of those double game weeks, and they've got a good double game week 36 as well. Tottenham are in there, Davison, Kane. I'm still holding on to two Wolves players, three Wolves players. I probably wish I hadn't. Maddison is in there with part of that Leicester great run of fixtures they've got, and you may have more than just Salah. You may have a Trent or Robert Matip, someone like that. So I think that your teams may be made up a combination of a lot of these players, but even without trying to target game week 36, I'm comfortably getting 11 players out. I'm not saying that they're going to all have great double game week fixtures, but they all have a double game week fixture. And it's nothing to say that Son and Kane can't produce. They've got some good fixtures, to hard fixtures, but they do have a home game against Arsenal. So I think you may have a similar side to mine. You may have 6 or 7, but without trying too hard, I think you can get this up to a side which is going to have at least 10 double game week players. So therefore, how much of a benefit will it be to free hit in 36? One of the best things I think you could possibly do, or a strategy, is if you know someone in your mini league's going to free hit in 37, perhaps as a differential you could free hit in 36. I think that's risky, but if you're at a stage of a season when you need to get points, perhaps you're going to have to start taking risks. If I look at my side in game week 37, it doesn't look too bad, but there isn't enough double game week players for me. I've just got Ramsey from Villa, and I don't really want to target him from that Villa side to get points. As an enabler, fine, but the free hit, I don't think he's going to be in it. So it's not a bad side, like I said, but is it the best one? I think if I free hit in 37, double game week, I've got Aston Villa with really good fixtures, Palace with good fixtures, and Everton with good fixtures. I think there's a higher ceiling on how many points I can get than 36. 36, I just think my side's going to do pretty well. On 37, might do all right, but I think with those doubles, I could really hit a much higher score than I would do normal with my side. And also, I've just got a lot of differentials. I will definitely be tripling or doubling up on Palace and Everton and Villa. Everton's just not a side I would want to go really near at this stage of the season, but with Everton playing Brentford at home and Palace at home, such a big week for them. Two sides possibly not a lot to play for at home. Huge game for them in terms of season and their future. Would I like to target Everton? I think as a punt, yeah, I would. Knowing that I haven't got to keep them any longer than to game week 38, I think I'd have a look at Richarlison. Is back, possibly go Gordon, maybe go for a Pickford, someone like that. I think definitely worth a punt. And there's some good assets in Villa and Palace as well that I know are going to play both games. Coutinho, the likes of him, Zaha. So I feel like game week 37 offers me a better opportunity to score more points. All going to be team dependent though, and how your team's set up. But if you want to have a look at the game week 36 free hit that we put together, let's have a look. So in goal, we've gone for Peter Schmeichel. I'm not going to go through the options in terms of reserve keeper. The reserve keeper was Harry Lewis at Southampton. He's just the cheapest goalkeeper I can get. I've got absolutely no concerns that Schmeichel shouldn't play, but we'll always keep an eye on those press conferences the last possible minute before deciding who we're going to put in our side. But at the moment, Schmeichel, with those fixtures, Everton and Norwich, look brilliant. If I knew that there was another Leicester player, defender in particular, that was going to play both games, I think I would definitely be interested. Schmeichel offers me about the only security and guarantee that I'm going to get 2 games, as much as it possibly can, provided nothing else happens, even though his seasonal stats look pretty poor, 1.45 goals conceded in the last 5 games, 15 out of 20. So even with all the players they got back, perhaps it's the amount of rotation, they're still conceding goals. But he's got 5 points on average per game in the last 5 games. If he picks me up 10 points in this double game week, I'll be pretty happy with that. And I do think there's a chance with those fixtures of at least 1 clean sheet. Moving into defence then, I've got Rudiger and James. Now, both of those, I'm happy that they've had a rest recently against West Ham. They've obviously played the Manchester United game. Hopefully going to be playing today. We'll find out later on this weekend in game week 35. But in terms of those fixtures, there is a doubt for me that if they play against Leeds away, because that's just coming before the FA Cup final, but I'm prepared to take a risk. I know James just has such a good attacking return. He had the rest as Rudiger, and Rudiger pretty much plays every game. But you would have managed, possibly out of 2, that James will have his minutes managed a little bit. But because of his form, and he just looked brilliant against Manchester United, I do think he's worth having in. Cancelo, great fixtures. He's had a rest with the Champions League suspension as well. It's Newcastle at home, Wolves away, look like great fixtures. Nailed in that Man City defence. I like him. Trent as well. We'll look at other options if you downgrade to Robbo later on. That's a possibility. In fact, he's been rested against Newcastle. Brilliant. Okay, that gives him more chance than more of being able to start both double games in the game week 36. Tottenham and Villa. Obviously, he has to play the FA Cup final as well. Go through the stats, we know Rudiger's XGI, not great, 0.9, it's the last 5. I do think he does offer a goal threat going forward. So he, in terms of goals conceded though, 6 over the last 5 games, it feels that Chelsea just concede every game, it feels, and it's frustrating, especially if you doubled up like I have. But, you know, all in all, there's still a good defence. And look at that XGI for James, wow, 0.63. Not much difference over the season. He's just such an asset going forward. Cancelo, as we know, playing for the best defence, expected goals conceded in the 90 over the last 5 games. His expected GI, he's only got, I think, 1 return in the last sort of 6-7 weeks. So not great, but he's still a great option in a great defence. And then Trent, we know what he can do, only slightly worse than Man City, but still the second best defence in terms of expected goals conceded. So that defence just is absolutely brilliant for me. Moving into midfield then, yeah, we will go Mason Mount. Wolves at home, Leeds away. I think, again, 90 minutes pretty much guaranteed. Maddison, now he's one I would say is definitely up to debate. Great fixtures. Will he play? We'll have to keep an eye on that Roma fixture before. You could swap him over to a Barnes. To wait and see. KDB, love the fact I want him in my side. Man City, great fixtures. Again, pretty much nailed. And Salah, I'm not going with that Salah. I don't even need to have a conversation about him. The fact that he's rested against Newcastle, again, just increased the likelihood that he'll play both games in the double week. Go through the stats then. Mount, really good, 2 assists and 2 goals in the last 5 games. Great XGI. Maddison, just it's his minutes that worry me. So definitely we'll look at permutations and options with him later on. KDB being absolutely brilliant. And Salah, I don't think I need to justify the inclusion of De Bruyne and Salah too much. Maddison would be the one that's up for debate for me in that midfield. And Mount as well, I just like. But we've got to, again, keep on those press conferences. Let's see if we get any indications as to who might be rested before that FA Cup final game. Up front then we've got Richarlison and we have Watkins. We'll go through permutations once again about strikers. Richarlison just got really nice fixtures. Away Leicester, away Watford, that looks really good. I know he's nailed on. He's on penalties as well. And there's a chance that Watkins is also on penalties. And he's got that Burnley fixture away. He seems to be the one who's getting all the minutes for Villa. Quite like it. Home to Liverpool, tricky game. If you repeat what he did a few years ago when Villa put 7 past Liverpool, was it? Then, wow, we'll be all quids in. But his figures, not great over the last few weeks. That's the only thing we've got to say about Watkins. His returns haven't been brilliant. SGI looks okay, though. But Richarlison has been one performing, and he seems to be the sort of talisman for Everton at the moment. So if he can keep that up, be really happy. So here we go then. We'll have a little bit of a play around with different permutations of the side. There's some of these players that I just feel, oh, fuck's sake, what's that doing? Here is a side then we put together. I definitely feel there's some conversations to be had about one or two of the players, so we can have a look at different options now. I like the look of the side all in all across the board. In goal, I just have Harry Lowe's 3.9. With Young Coombs, none of these players I'm expecting to play on the bench. I just don't see any chance of the players up here on screen not playing. But if you wanted to have a substitute, just in case one player doesn't play any minutes, maybe the likes of Gordon, even Brownhill would be a cheap option. Possibly you could do that. The cost of this side, 104.1. You may be able to have a little bit less, a little bit more to play with, but it's definitely options if you want them. So having a look at different options, I think Maddison to Barnes would be one that would bring the cost down. Barnes had a rest the other day as well in the first leg of Roma. So what happens in terms of his minutes? we'll have to keep an eye on. But he could be easily down. Maddison to Barnes would be a straight swap. That would bring the cost and make it more affordable. Other options would be, yes, I've got no issues with bringing Robertson in instead of Trent. Trent's had that rest. That would be possibly why I'd prefer him. But Robertson with Tsimikas also not being fully fit, that's possibly his place nailed. So that's an option. I think longer term I'd always prefer Trent over Robertson, but this is just a one-hit week. So Robertson, I've got no issues with that at all. There's really a case for playing him over Trent anyway, I'd say. Other alternatives, if you wanted to get the likes of Harry Kane in your side, you do have to start making a few sacrifices. Trent would have to come down to Robertson. Then you could go from KDB to someone like Foden. That would afford you to be able to bring Kane in. That's just one of those options. If you needed money, again, you could produce maybe a Maddison to Barnes. If you want to go from the likes of a James to Alonso, or there's even a chance of going from Cancelo to Laporte, who's pretty much nailed as well. All of these, I think, are perfectly good options. The other one, just to throw it out there, you could keep Foden in, Maddison in, and go from Matip. Matip seems to be playing those league games as well. Konate played in the FA Cup game, so a good chance, you'd think, then that Matip would play against Tottenham and Villa, with Konate playing in the FA Cup final. And then you could bring Jesus in if you wanted to punt on him. Not largely owned, playing quite regularly. Keeping Kane, you'd have Kane and Jesus up front, with Matip in defence. Oh, I quite like that side. Other options then, we haven't covered Watford. They do have good fixtures. Absolutely, if you needed to go down from a Maddison to a Sarr to save you money, or a Dennis if you wanted to bring in money elsewhere, I got no issues with that. The other option was possibly make it even cheaper, and then you could start to keep the likes of Robbo maybe instead of coming down to Matip, is have someone like a Bernardo Silva instead of a Foden. I do like the idea of having at least one Man City player in this side, but those are just three of the different options. Thanks for watching, and guys, that's all there is for this one. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Any comments below about whether you are free hitting? If you want to give us any of your opinions about who to bring in and stuff, I'd love to engage and chat to you about that. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great game week 35. And we'll be back at you maybe with a free hit update later on in the week. See if anything's changed, team selections, all that good stuff on the watch list. In the meantime, take care. Good luck. Speak to you soon.